What an extraordinary expedition morning we've had here in Hornson. We came in early this morning in search of bears, and we did see one in the distance, and then we found one swimming in the water.
He was swimming pretty quickly, and it was a nice change of pace, and then all of a sudden we saw seals.
All of a sudden we saw the bear change direction, and in doing so, it was hunting. Yeah, you'd think, given how powerful these bears are, that the kill might happen rather quickly, but in fact it took about 15 to 20 minutes.
I did keep my eyes on the entire process of the bear killing the seal and the whole thrashing around, and I was grateful, but I did not know how rare it was.
And it was quite brutal to see as we saw the water filling with the color of blood. I've come upon many bears on a fresh kill, but I've never seen one actually kill. So this was quite special to witness.
Everyone was on deck when finally the bear got out of the water, and it was a very, very special encounter here. A true expedition morning.
Wow. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, my.
A seal's hide is very thick, so thick that leather can be made out of it, so it's no easy task for a polar bear to attempt to have an instant kill, but rather it's a process.
And everyone got to watch this bear kill a seal, drag it up onto the ice, and eat it for breakfast. And this is truly one of the most special mornings you ever have expedition cruising up in Svalbard.
Of course, on a day like this where there's no wind and the sun is high in the sky, conditions are perfect for viewing these sort of things. So I can't even put into words how special this is for everyone that was able to witness it.
We're very fortunate to see this quite large bear on a kill. Looks like a relatively young male, but big size, very bulky. The shocking thing is to see this female with two cubs approaching towards this big bear on a kill.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Come on, two cubs.
It's kind of amazing. She's getting closer to him, and she's purposely bringing her cubs towards the site of the big bear on the kill. Very risky to escort your two cubs to the site of another bear. She's trying to drive him off the kill. We don't know quite what the whole interaction was about, but the mother with two cubs looks very skinny and might be pretty desperate for something to eat, and thought it would be worth the while of trying to chase that bear off a kill, but it would have none of it.
It was pretty awesome, absolutely amazing, but tough to watch that she wanted some food to eat.
for a mother with 2 cubs to actually approach a much bigger bear on a kill is crazy. I've never seen anything like that before.
We're just pushing through 4/8 pack ice just off the northeast corner of Barenshire. It's one of the last big areas of sea ice left, and there's a lot of bears concentrated out there because this is where the seals come to feed. But as we slowed and the bear saw us, it came lolloping towards us across the ice, plunged into the sea a couple of times, hauled itself out, and just beat a path straight to the bow of the ship. And when it got closer, we could see it was a beautiful, clean 3-year-old, a young bear. And these bears, just like all polar bears, have a fantastic sense of smell, but they're hungry all the time. They're not long independent from their mums. It could smell breakfast. This bear probably never seen bacon, but it knows exactly what it smells like.
It was just amazing to see this incredible bear, and as the ice broke under him and as he was walking around, and once in a lifetime, I've got the chills. And it's not that cold out.
When I got onto this trip, I was never expecting like polar bears coming straight underneath the boat, you know, pretty much just standing out there saying, "Oh, I'm a polar bear and I'm so fuzzy and cute." You know, I wasn't expecting that at all.
When it stopped underneath us, we could see those front pads, which are part of the killing weapons of a bear, are gigantic, bigger than a dinner plate, covered in dense fur, but with 5 very big black claws on the front.
We were sailing up in the Arctic Ocean in the ice. Everybody was sound asleep except the people up on the bridge. And 2 o'clock they spotted a polar bear. And it happened to be a rather rare sighting. It was a female with 3 cubs. 3 cubs here in Svalbard is very, very, very rare. It can go years between the sightings. And we could actively see her hunting.
And it was just amazing to see the mom teaching the cubs how to hunt. So she would pounce and the seal got away, but as soon as she was done hunting, the cubs immediately started imitating her hunting technique.
Coming up close to the polar bear is an absolutely mesmerizing experience. I really hope that I'm able to convey everything that I've learned up here and bring this back to my students and let them know that this place is very real and very much worth protecting.
This evening, a little north of 80 degrees, we had our 13th bear of the voyage. The bear, upon sighting, was lying down on the ice. The bear eventually got up and started to wander around, wandering towards us, away from us, and then back towards the ship.
I think we have a beautiful female polar bear, clean, in good condition. And she came up just under the bow here. This is amazing.
Typically, you don't find bears much north of 82, but some of these bears are hanging on the ice as long as they possibly can, searching for seals.
I must have taken about 100 shots. It was an incredible experience. I cannot forget.
My favorite moment is watching the polar bears, and the one last night really moved me. I watched it until it walked out of sight.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm on bear number 2.
Today we dedicated a lot of time looking for the polar bears out on the sea ice, and we've had really good luck. We found a number of bears during the morning and the afternoon. We've come across a really nice bear that our expedition leader sighted. It was on a kill eating a seal. We were able to position ourselves around, watch it. It started moving between some of the floes. It finally then moved off.
Happy 4th of July! Heineken beer and hot dogs.
Well done, one.
Well, today we have a little 4th of July celebration. The weather, I think, is as good as it gets. And Stina is cooking up some weisswurst on the grill, and we're just having a fabulous time.
Thank you very much. Happy 4th. Thank you very much.
Das ist mein Ding. Also so ein Tag über mal segeln, weißt du, oder so. Das ist auch, aber dann richtig auf.
Well, at first I just wasn't sure how close it would be. We were looking at it from afar, and it was walking away a little bit and then coming towards us. And it seemed very curious about the boat, and then it started coming towards us, and it got so close, and I just kept on thinking, I can't believe I'm this close to a polar bear.
I would describe it big and cream colored and curious animal, and it's so, I don't even know how to explain it.
It kept on looking around at us, and I think it heard our cameras and wanted to see us. And then it got on its hind legs and sniffed around and looked at us. I don't know if it thought we were food or just fun. But I think it was showing off for us. It kind of shook around a little bit, and oh my gosh, it was amazing.
It looked like it was sniffing like it's sniffing the area around it and looking up, and it started standing on its hind legs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now she's looking at us at least.
Oh, my hand. I'm so excited.
What we have just experienced now is an incredible polar bear event. Something you can dream of and spend years up in the high Arctic to encounter. We saw 3 polar bears. One on a kill, obviously a seal, and that was a huge big male. And he was guarding his kill, and the way he protected his kill was to gather snow and pile it around the kill to hide it. But of course it's hard for a polar bear to hide anything from other polar bears, because the nose they have is so extremely sensitive. But to see the interaction between the bears, how the youngest one tried to sneak up on the floe and was very distinctly told by the big male, you don't belong here, go somewhere else.
Oh, that was a display I've never seen before. That was just amazing. Really great. Oh, that's what we came for and what we hoped for.
So last night we ended our high Arctic adventure with an incredible adventure and seeing 8, maybe 9 different polar bears out on the sea ice about 20 nautical miles off the coast of Greenland. At first a female with 2 cubs, or koi, cub of the years, was spotted on a kill, and we slowly approached her and had some incredible time with watching her feeding on the seal, learning her cubs to eat the seal.
I had heard from previous fellows about how incredible and amazing these trips are, but even still, I tried to keep my expectations kind of at a minimum. You know, we're not going to really see a polar bear. We're not going to see blue whales, orcas. And so I've been blown away by what we have seen.
I try not to have expectations about what I'm going to have that day. And each and every day has absolutely surpassed anything I ever could have imagined.
I think I had a really simplistic view of the Arctic initially. So what I was kind of seeking out was driven on my students' questions. And on one level, they're asking me questions that were about kind of this well-preserved nature of the Arctic, but then there were also these questions that were kind of talking about were interested in the bleakness, I guess, austerity of the Arctic. And what I found is that it's actually much more complex than what I initially thought.
That's the fun part of sailing up here, that every trip you learn something new.
Our experience at Cape Waring was one of the best Zodiac cruises of my life. Unlike the experience of seeing the bears on the ice and making kills on the ice, these bears are on the island. They are waiting, they're hungry. They're waiting for the sea ice that won't come for another month or two.
There were about 7 or 8 bears on the beach, and they had what looked to be a walrus they were eating. So we watched them eat and have a little skirmish, and we got to see how they interacted and how they fed. You just watch them in the wild, and they're so big and powerful.
And then up along the top of the cliffs, there were polar bears that came over just to look at all of us, wondering, what are we doing here? And what is all of that going on in the water?
Yesterday, we saw polar bear just too numerous to count, and experiences and sights that I know I'll probably never see again in my life.
Being able to share this with everyone and have everybody's cameras clicking and their eyes just glued to everything going on the shore was one of my best experiences that I've had out here in Wild World with Lindblad.
Oh, another one. We're off the east coast of Baffin Island here, and we're just having this fabulous time. The polar bear was just right up here, right next to the ship. I had to use my wide-angle lens. It was just the best. Way beyond my expectations, way beyond.
Yes.
Back to back.
Scale of 1 to 10 and 11. Yeah.
I never thought there were so many bears in this area. It was much, much more than we expected.